All right, good afternoon.
Hey, Doug. How'd you come out in terms of the injuries and anything
Good.
with Nick? Did you have to test Nick again?
Foles?
Yeah.
No, he came out good. Yeah. Yes.
Doug, you guys have faced some of the best defensive linemen and some of the best defenses in the league during your streak. How well do you think your line has sort of answered that call, and why? How has it been?
I think they rise to the occasion. They rise to the challenge. Every time that, or any time that, we hear a lot about our opponent, especially the guys up front. And we've listened, and you said it. We've played a lot of really, really good defensive linemen this year, D ends, D tackles, and it just seems like our guys really embrace that opportunity, embrace the challenge, and they have a great week of practice preparation. I'm gonna tell you, Joe Osman, he's a practice squad player. He was Khalil Mack last week. He's been Aaron Donald. He's been, and he gives us great looks. And really, that's where it starts. And our guys really, as I said, they do embrace it, and they rise up and do a nice job in the game.
Jason Peters specifically, he's had some games this year where he couldn't make it through. What have you seen from him, and what has impressed you about his year?
Well, I think number one, he's feeling better each week. Obviously, the added rest that we're giving him, he's feeling better, and he felt good yesterday. And listen, he's a professional. He gets himself prepared, more probably mentally during the week than physical, obviously. And he's an all-pro left tackle in my mind, and he continues to play at a high level. Is it perfect all the time? No. I mean, there's going to be times when he gets beat, but he's steady, he's reliable, and he played well yesterday.
Can you agree that what his sort of status in the locker room is?
His status? I mean, he's a leader on the team. I mean, you watch him talk to the guys, even when he's not in the game. He's talking to the guys, and he leads a lot by example that way, on and off the football field. So guys have a lot of respect for him.
Doug, there's been a lot of new guys who've come in since the season started who are contributing a lot to you guys. Can you just talk about on both sides of the ball? Just talk about the process of kind of acclimating so many new people and then being productive.
Yeah. You can go all the way back to Trayvon Hester, who we activated early in the season off practice squad, and then has a big hand in the game last night. You like that? And then you continue to go and you add Golden Tate, you add Crayvon LeBlanc, and you activate Trey Sullivan, and all these different pieces that were on practice squad. Shandon Sullivan, who was active and he's still with us on practice squad. Guys like that have all had impacts this season, and number one, it's a credit to it's more on defense, obviously. So the defensive staff, coaching these guys up, and we say next man up, but this year has always been next man and maybe even the second man up, and so credit the coaches for preparing them each week, and I think too right now you're seeing that these guys are playing a lot more minutes together, and so they're getting a little more comfortable with the scheme. And I think of Rasul Douglas and how well he's been playing and how well he's been tackling and really being a more physical corner like we expect him to be, and that's a bright spot as well. And then you throw in Maddox, who's a rookie corner who he's battling injury right now, but he's playing through it, and he's playing good. And like I said, they're coming together at the right time.
What's the process like with your pro scouts and the coaching staff when you're looking at a player who you can pick up or get on waivers?
Well, obviously we rely a lot on the personnel side, the pro staff side. They're the ones looking and constantly checking rosters and waiver wires and things like that for players that we could add, depth to a position. And then if there is a player or two that of interest, they'll bring it to myself, and then of course we put it off on the position coach to take a look at and see if that person is or that athlete is has an opportunity on our roster. So it's a great process. We do, like I said, spend a lot of time letting the personnel side kind of handle it, but coaches have a little part in making that decision as well.
So you didn't really make many waves when he wasn't
Who is this?
Tate.
Golden?
He didn't seem to make many waves when he wasn't playing first stretch there. But he was still ready to step up in a big moment last night. What does that say about him, and what's it been like working with him since you've grown up?
Well, it's exactly the person we knew we were getting. And this guy, obviously, was a starter, and then kind of came in, became a role player, so kind of a little bit took a seat, a little bit, step back, and had to kind of get comfortable with the offense. And then, as Mike and myself and the staff, we put game plans together. We think of our playmakers in mind and have certain plays for guys. And each week he just shows that he can handle more and more and more. And obviously we get, in practice, we get more plays repped in practice than we do get called necessarily sometimes in a game. So you see more in practice from him. But, he just keeps getting better, and he's really good at, the types of catches that he made last night, and especially the fourth down and to win the game, or at least to go ahead. Those are the things he can do. He's very strong at the ball. We know he's strong after the catch. He's strong, breaking tackles, and played well.
Doug, Nick talks so much about the open dialogue and the conversations that you guys have on the sidelines in a big game like that. I mean, we've seen, there's a statue outside for the Philly special, for goodness sake. But what is that open dialogue like between you two in those big game situations?
I mean, it's just it. I mean, it's, you can't be scared to speak your mind, in situations. It's, it's no different than if I'm going to, go for it on fourth down. I trust the players, and the same is true. If they have ideas and they want to bring them to us, I got to trust that. And so the conversation is just that. It's open, it's honest, it's real. It's based on what he's seeing, based on what we're seeing as coaches, what I'm seeing as a play caller. And, if the instinct is right, if the gut feel is right, we go with it.
Speaking of Golden, the catch he made in the second quarter where he took that shot, I mean, what does that say about his toughness? I mean, just how he was able to hold on.
He's tough.
Yeah. Can you elaborate?
That's just who he is. That's the type of player he is. He's got that running back mentality. Again, strong at the ball, strong at the point. And quite frankly, the first guy normally doesn't bring him down, and he made that was a sweet catch, obviously a big play in the game, as of course the last one. But that's who he is, and that's what we expected out of him, and we got to do more of that.
Why do you think that kind of set the tone a little bit as far as like the toughness you guys showed throughout the game?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think that's a big part of. It can spill over to the rest of the group, especially the receiver group, because we asked them to do a lot, and not only in the passing game but in the running game as well, to block safeties, block corners, sometimes linebackers, and that sort of aggressive mentality can carry over in other areas.
Going back to Lane and JP real quick, as a play caller, would you feel comfortable to have tackles that you can leave on an island, even against players like Mac? How much easier does it make it for you?
Well, as a play caller, it makes it a little easier because they're playing well and they're controlling the line of scrimmage. It's something we talk about each week, and the more guys you can put into a route, obviously more opportunities for completions, and we did our fair share of our chips and slams and different things that we do with the ends and sometimes tackles, but when our guys play at a high level and play as well as they did, it does make it a little bit easier to just call plays.
Hey, Doug, what's the approach you take with the first Saints game? Is that a resource this week, or is it something you try to flush away?
Well, immediately after the game, you flush it and you're moving on to the next week's opponent. I think for us this week, it's more of the resource. We go back and look at scheme. We go back and look at personnel, you can't look at the final score, obviously, we all know that, but you got to look at it from just X's and O's, pure X's and O's, and it's good to have played them, because now you got that on tape. You got us versus them on tape, and you can go back and review and use it more as a resource.
So why did you decide to go with more 11 personnel involved?
Vic Fangio did a great job of mixing his defensive personnel in the game, and it's offense is a little a little different from the standpoint. I've got to get personnel on the field. We got to get the huddle call. You know, we got a 40-second clock. So we're on more of a tempo where he can substitute guys in and out a little bit easier. And so he was mixing up his personnel on first down and you know, first half he was mixing with a little nickel defense. Then in the second half he went with base and so I just said, hey, we're going to go 11 personnel. A couple times we went straight empty, and still able to throw the ball even against their base defense when they played it against our 11. So, just gave us a little better matchup at that time.
Josh Adams played just one snap.
Josh
played one snap. Why go with Wendell and Darren? Was that game specific, or was that just in the playoffs you wanted better?
Yeah, it was a little more game specific in this one. Yeah.
Were you thinking sprint out on that fourth down play, or
I was.
something else?
I was.
Okay. And the fact that you have that open dialogue with Nick in big moments like that, is that some stem from your experience playing the position and knowing what you would want as a quarterback in that moment? Because it seems like as a coach you'd want almost like full control.
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, at the end of the day, they're playing the game, not me. I'm over there on the sideline where it's a little more, you know, relaxed. They're the ones out there playing, and so it does come from, you know, learning and watching through my days of playing and being a backup and watching and just watching the starter, whoever it was, you know, talking with the coordinator, talking with the position coach on the sideline, the offensive line coach with protections, whatever it is, and just having that conversation. I think things are changing for us anyway. I'd say back in those days too, it was more about the coaches making the decision and players just fall in line. But listen, I learned too that players make plays, and they're the ones out there. And if I don't show that I trust my guys, then they'll turn in a hurry. And so I got to make sure that I'm trusting them. And as long as what they're saying is right and it's matching up to what we're seeing as coaches, then we can go forward.
Why should fans think this will be different from the last game against New Orleans? What will be different?
I think you just got to look at where we've come and what we've done. Just the way this team has come together at the end of the season, you know, to be counted out with even about 3 games to go, and we had to go on had to win our last 3 regular season games even to be into the postseason. Needed a little bit of help, but this this team believes. This team believes in everything that we're doing, and you saw it yesterday, and we're different. You know, it's a different mindset. It's a different football team, and we're a different group than when we played New Orleans the first time, and we're learned from it, and we'll obviously have been better since.
Three of the games this weekend were won by games that they lost to earlier. And if you remind the team of that, and what does change in the playoffs?
Well, what changes is that everything matters. Everything you do matters in the postseason. You might be able to get away with something during the regular season because you got 16 games, but here when it's a 1-game season, and so everything you do matters from your rest, nutrition, the way you practice, how much meeting time, are you spending extra time, all that stuff now can actually correlate to winning or losing games and guys being in position. So I think that's the difference when you get to the postseason that way. And our guys really do a good job of preparing themselves and being ready for these games.
Coach, how's Carson coming along, and is Nate going to be your backup again this weekend?
Yeah, Carson's doing well. You know, he's still getting healthy, and Nate will still be the backup.
What can Carson learn from watching Nick in these big games and Nick's success in these big games that Carson hasn't had an opportunity to really play in?
Well, I mean, I think one, Carson, he definitely wants to be out there and he wants to be with his teammates, and I just think that he right now he's a great support for Nick, and that's huge because Nick has been that way for him, and that's a big thing from going from starter to backup. That's hard, but then now you're in this position to really help the starter become successful. But I just think that. He sees how everything's kind of coming together, and whether it be the run game or the offensive line's playing well, or even your skill position guys are making plays. I think that's all things that he's he's processing and learning from, and will be better when he gets back out there.
What's the reasoning for keeping Carson active?
What's the reason? Well, listen, I mean, we keep winning. We keep, putting ourselves in a position to be successful. You never know. You never know what next week might hold. So we just keep that out. We've done it a lot this year. We kept Darren up all season. We've done it with other players this year. So Sidney Jones is another one that we keep alive. So we keep these guys coming, and we'll see where they're at, in another week.
How about Mike Wallace and Sidney Jones? Like, chance of them next week?
Yeah, they're both going to be day to day again. We'll see more on Thursday when we're out on the field practicing, live from both of those guys.
Same practice schedule?
Same practice, yeah, walkthroughs and then practice on Thursday.
Thanks,
All right,
Doug.
thanks, guys.